Architecture needs to be a process which is extremely deep.
You're about to enter the Archgyan Podcast.
Archgyan Podcast.
India's first and very own architecture podcast, where you'll hear the insights, experiences, and journeys from India's leading architects. No matter what your skill level is, together we'll build on our knowledge and share architecture's greatest stories ever told. Now, here's your host, Manish Paul Simon.
Welcome back to the Archgyan Podcast. This is part 2 of a weightless exploration of design with architect Gaurav Choudhury. If you didn't get to listen to part 1, head to archgyan.com/23. It's a pretty cool episode where he shares his journey in architecture, his initial struggles, how the rigor and Kamla Reja helped him in the future, and lots more. So please head to archgyan.com/23. Now in this part, we discuss about architectural education, Bangalore traffic, and a possible solution for Bangalore traffic, how a city is the most sustainable form of living, and then we dwell into his plans for the future, advice for young architects, and towards the end we have a quick fire round where he shares his favorite movies, artists, and lots more. And for more on this episode, you can head to archgyan.com/24. Before we head to the episode, please leave us a like and subscribe on YouTube, or a rating and review if you're listening from iTunes, Spotify, or any other major podcast platform. Keeps us motivated in giving you guys some quality architectural conversations. Now, without further ado, we have part 2, where Gaurav starts off by sharing his take on architectural education in India. Let's go.
See, I'm the wrong guy to ask all of these things because I'm extremely critical. Okay, I'm the guy who expects the best out of my people, best out of each person. That is how I am. I'm the biggest critic, my own biggest critic. I hate all my projects, so I'm one of those people. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask. But when I'm teaching, I'm always trying to get people to introspect. Introspect, because design is inside, it's not outside. That's our biggest. So when they are trying to be wannabe, or I catch them. Their wannabiness might be a very cool project, which they can fool maybe other faculty with me, but they will not be able to fool it with me. I'm one of those guys. And I don't care about drawings. As a faculty, I really do not care about drawings. Okay, if you have an idea, stick to your idea. Even if you're a final jury, you come with sketches, but you're stuck to your guns and stuck to your ideas. I will give that person far more marks than someone who has just shot their design process and made really nice 3D views and made some simple design. And I'm one of those people. Who will give because what are you teaching a student? What are you teaching? You're teaching a student to take a shortcut. That's basically what you're teaching. And in practice, there are deadlines every day. Okay, every single day we have a deadline. Something or the other needs to go. Shortcuts can only lead you where they're going to lead you. So I'm extremely critical with. I make sure that they stick to what they do. And I don't care too much about drawings. They have their whole lives to learn drawings. They have only these 5 years to actually be passionate about this field, because unless you're passionate in this field, you will not survive practice. You'll be producing mediocre work. You'll become a product. You will not be able to differentiate yourself to be pushing in any way. So that's something which I'm always pushing. And of course, this is not the most traditional thought process in which you'll find in colleges. The colleges, the first thing is like, okay, give me drawings, give me the plan, give me the section, give me the axonometric, give me this, give me that. And so, teaching has been, you can imagine someone like me in a traditional college in Bangalore, it's been a interesting thing. But yeah, I've stopped teaching a while mainly because we have a practice here. Traffic, we're Bangalore traffic in the middle. The colleges are all really far away. So basically, if I were to teach, I'll be basically working the weekends. So right now, I'm a little old for not not having weekends. Yeah, I did it till I was like I think 35 or something like that. But now I don't think I can do that.
And what are the different influences you had over the years? I'm sure you've had like architects who influenced you. Or
So I think I am more kind of. I'm not a person who worships anything per se. I like a lot of architects. There are a lot of architects doing really good work. Whenever I see, but I'm also a person who has very bad memory. So that's been good because I really don't remember the names of the architects also who I like. When I like something, I'll kind of make a note of that. Say this guy's done this to this building. But I've never had those. I think films have influenced me more than architects have.
then you're also into filmmaking.
No, I'm not. I wish I was, but I'm not. I watch a lot of films. I watch a lot of,
So these are mostly like foreign.
whatever. I mean, I don't really differentiate a good film.
It's not like the Bollywood.
No. I don't. It's just, like when I'm watching a film, I'm very conscious of, as when you become a designer of anything, you start looking at anything from the point of view of the guy making it. Right? You see, okay, what is he thinking? What is he or she? Again, I don't mean to be sexist here. What is he or she making? What are they thinking? What do they want to portray? I'm always looking at. So, and when I see a Bollywood film, I see like, okay, they think that we're idiots, and that really angers me. That really, as a viewer, I'm like, okay, these guys think that they can just give us some masala stuff, formula or something, and then we will jump up and clap and do all that and that. So I stopped watching those kind of videos. They make me angry, and they are completely money driven. No? So they're not done by a guy who really wants to do something well. They're done by a guy who wants to earn as much money. That's the difference. The starting point is that. So I don't like to watch things which are done by people who want to make a lot of money.
But you're a big fan of Satyajit Ray and...
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ritwik Ghatak, Satyajit Ray, then Kieslowski, then you have your...
The Japanese guys
Japanese, Ozu, Kurosawa.
Yeah, Kurosawa.
These guys are old guys, and there are a lot of new guys also doing really good work.
I think they have like great eye for detail, like in the scenes, right?
I think it's a matter of what do you want to do.
Okay.
In a movie. Okay, these guys are people who have very clear ideas of what they want to do, and they do it. And making money is not one of them. Okay, telling a story is. I think that's key. What your motive is eventually what propagates your product. What do you make? If I want to make a building, I want to do architecture to make money. My buildings are going to be very different. Okay, if I want to make buildings to be famous, my buildings are going to be very different. If I want to make good buildings and honest buildings, my buildings are going to be very different. You understand? So we always look at motive. No one talks about this. That what you make is what your intentions are. So the most important thing, like with even people working for me, I tell them, what are your intentions? Why are you in this field? What do you want to do? Because that's eventually, like it or not, going to be felt. If you're an insecure person and you want to make a loud project, that is going to be felt by everyone who's seeing it, or whether they know it or not. But today it's sad, but we applaud that architecture. Yeah. But at the end, that's going to be felt. Same way with movies, So when you watch a movie and you feel those feelings which you have not felt, and you start to get that, your eyes get watery and things like that. Yeah. The guy who made it had to be 10 times more emotional about it than he made you feel. Only then would he be able to make you feel that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that's very important. That there's no way if he went, ye scene hai, ye karenge, you will not feel that emotion unless he or she is feeling it. So that's something which is very important in any creative process. If a guy who's writing a book is not really committed to it, you're not going to like the book. The guy who's writing the book is in it, is feeling every character's emotions and feeling what's going in their head. You're gonna have something beautiful. So that's where architecture comes from. Architecture needs to be a process which is extremely deep. And it you kind of work with your psyche, your own thinking that way. So for me, architecture is me questioning myself and getting better as a person, and therefore my architecture gets better. So it's a very direct kind of relationship between these two things. So it's an intimate process, and I'm, again, like I said, I'm so grateful to having the time to think all of this, because in today's world you don't get that time. You have a building banaya, you get a reference, his uncle, his father, someone else wants to build a building, 4 projects come, and at the end of it you're doing 20 projects, you've got 10 people working for you, you're doing all. It's like it's exactly like what I say about Indians. I say that Indians, what people do is that people do education, the parents go study and become engineer or doctor or something. They study, then they become whatever they are supposed to be. Next thing, they married off, they have kids. So at no point do they actually become mature adults. That's
and it's like a pattern which keeps repeating.
It's just a pattern. So then they're not thinking individuals. They're just products of a society. We need thinking individuals. The problems we have today, which we have to face with, are only going to be solved with thinking individuals, not products. We have IT, we're in Silicon Valley, and we have such crisis with regards to IT. Why do we have such a big crisis with regards to IT? Because they're all run by products. In their colleges, they've never been told, question everything. They've just not been done that. They've not been told that. Yeah. And if they were told, we would be somewhere else. We would be probably, I don't know, man. Our GDP would be 8%, 10%. I don't know. People always say GDP. Everyone's working. Yeah. But what are they achieving? Yeah. That's key. What are you achieving? If what I am doing, my engineer, what he is doing is that someone is not reading the drawing. He's spending 5 minutes and reading a drawing properly. You got to spend 5 minutes and read the drawing properly. He will go and make a mistake. Yeah. Then my engineer has to go there, tell him to correct it. Then when he makes it correct the second time and he finally goes to this thing, we have to go again to see if he's done it properly. So that's where our time goes. If he spent, and that's increasing, because we have a smartphone with us. People don't have any attention. People don't have any this thing. So that is the problem. What we are doing at any point of time, people are not doing well. That is where there's the problem today. That someone who is a carpenter will not read the drawing or will not take the time to clean the area. He'll be doing it in the mess, and then he's at a different angle and his cuts will not go proper. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's just chaos. It's the same like the roads. You just think of how many hours of time fathers or mothers are being denied spending with their children.
Do you have a solution for like Bangalore traffic?
I have solutions. Okay. I have solutions. First thing, what they haven't understood is what a city is. First thing they have to understand, the city is the answer to all our problems. Why is it an answer to all our problems? We're talking about sustainability. You know what the most sustainable form of living is? A city. Why? Because we have one road for 10 lakh people. We have one pipe for 10,000 people. We have one person. You want a doctor, you go a kilometer. If you're in a village, you'd go 10 kilometers. Yeah. You have 10 options in a kilometer in a city. You want jobs, there are 50,000 people jobs around. You don't have to go somewhere else. So a city is the most sustainable form of living. It's like a machine. It needs to function like a machine. So people have not understood that. When they go and look at a Marathali junction in Bangalore, where everyone spent 2 hours, like 5 lakh or 10 lakh or 20 lakh people spend every day an hour wasting their time there. Yeah. They should jump at the opportunity. Where else can they go and solve a problem and solve 10,000 lives? Where else? You do a project, a bridge in a village. 10 people are going to cross it. You do. So I just don't understand the attitude. People don't see these things as opportunities. They don't see it. They say, okay, we can't do anything. Everyone's dismal, but we have to. We have to, because that's how money is made. Money is not made by one person going and buying lunch. Money is made when you're running a restaurant by serving 10,000 people or whatever, or with the Swiggy model and things like that. That's how money is made. But the governments are just not smart enough to get that. That we have to deal with.
Plus they're corrupt, right?
They're corrupt, but they're also that's another problem. No? They're like, I always said this. I just said this around 12 years back, actually. That the politicians here are basically, Bangalore's like a goose which lays golden eggs, and they're the guys who will cut its belly. Because they think that all the eggs are in the stomach. So why do I have to wait every day for an egg? Instead, I just slice it and take all the eggs at one shot, and they have nothing at the end of it because there's no eggs inside his belly. So that's exactly how it is, and that's the thinking. And that needs to improve. That basic tone of thinking that, it's a problem. It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. Yeah.
10 lakh people you can affect 10 lakh this thing by just solving this. You can spend 10 lakh times or maybe 1 lakh times what a normal village you'd make in a small village, the bridge. You can spend 1 lakh times the amount of money. Yeah. Buy and fix it. But they don't think that way. So we are also trying to get into, again, practice itself is, whether you've seen the kind of practice we do, it just takes up quite a lot of time. We're just now hitting some kind of balance with people who have come in and they've settled in and things like that. So now we're trying to look at going and intervening in the city. Going and saying that, okay, listen, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. We've actually made, even for the metro rail, we have said that the metro rail, what you're doing in Bangalore completely doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. We have gone and said that the metro rail station should have been in the middle of your radial roads. It shouldn't have followed me radial roads. We've gone and said that because that's the area, that's the largest tracts of land are in between your radial roads where your metro, and they are not developed. And you to reach from, say, Banarghata Road to Hosur Road, say at Silkboard, the distance is 4-5 kilometers. But as soon as you go to Electronics, the distance between both these roads are 40 kilometers. And that land in between is not accessible. And that's why your real estate prices your metro needed to come in between that to develop that area. You shouldn't have gone along these main roads.
Yeah.
But they don't understand all of these things. They're just doing things for the sake. Everything's eyewash in Bangalore. Don't you feel that? I just feel that everything's eyewash. People are just doing things to make other people stop saying things. Okay, we'll put parking meter on Brigade Road. What? Why we are going to go and make the 4-5 square kilometers of the central of the city and really make it fancy? Really, they have bollards, and you've seen the MG Road areas. They have bollards, and they have this, and they have that, and why are you? What are you doing? Why 80% of the city doesn't even have a road? And when I say 80% of the city, I'm not talking about Cooktown where we live and where you live and where you drive every day, where I drive every day. Go into one of those lanes. Go into those areas which I'm talking about in between, the Bomasandra. They will not have a road, they will not have a drain, they will not have anything. They won't have water supply. So why don't you do one more thing? Why don't you build a pavement of simple concrete, but make it so well that it can be so cheap and get the quality. There's no thing in quality, right? You can do concrete well. Yeah. And make sure that is followed everywhere, even these areas. That would be an example. To have one solution for every part of rather than do something special and do something, our cities are gentrifying more, as it is. What you want is solutions which are which are robust.
But it's also on the public to use it the right way, because most of us, we just go ahead and misuse
But
whatever.
how do you start propagating? It's a thought process, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
How do you start it? How do you start this thought process? It starts with the government. The buck stops with them. That a larger thinking. Problem is that you see the pavements in Bangalore, we make it every 6 months. They take these curbstones and they don't even put it into the ground. They're not into the ground. And half of them collapse in 6 months, and then 6 months later they're building it again. That's why we're a poor country. That is why we're a poor country. People just do not care about how we do things. You go to China, I have the opportunity to go to China, and you see everything's concrete. It's not that they're putting fancy tiles and bollards and this and that, but they make the concrete so well that it feels good and it's done well. And that is also a part of what we do in our practice. I don't believe in putting fancy things. I want it done well. I want to propagate quality. I don't care when contractors go and do other projects I want to be the guy training. I want to get craft back into the field. I want high standards. That is what, and I'm going to fight every day of my life for it. I want the edges to be perfect. I want them to respect everything which they do. Because we have left, because it's sad in our country, like I said in this thing, I keep on saying this, that carpenters and skilled masons are leaving their jobs and becoming Uber drivers. That's such a shame. Anyone can drive. But to have really expert masons and carpenters is not but we're not valuing them. We're not valuing them.
Exactly.
And
you need to work with them.
That's where, so our thing is just keep on doing what you're doing. Believe in, push your thing, and yes, maybe you will not be able to at the end of when we kind of look back at our lives, not see an impact, but we would have made a change. And we're not really ambitious in terms of making a visible impact, and because those are quite, you just make a change. You make a change in small things. You don't make a change in big things. So that's something which I really believe in. I believe improve construction quality. Improve it. Make bridges which fall down, curbstones which make our roads in any country abroad, they make them every 6-7 years. In our thing, we make it every year. Yes, we pay 1/3 for it, but eventually you think and we drive through bad roads for the rest of that makes us poor. That thinking makes us poor. And that's my problem.
All right. So what plans do you have for the future as
I have no
a firm?
plans. I'm a guy who doesn't make plans. I will just keep doing what I have in my hands. I will work on the projects I have in my hand, not go and seek projects which I don't have. I will stay in the present.
So you're not into digital marketing? And
No. I put up some, on Facebook and things, but not really. We have not marketed. We have not at all marketed. That's something which I'm extremely proud to say. I don't know whether I'm proud or not, but I haven't had the need. I'm very fortunate to say, is the right word, that I haven't had the need to market. Mainly the scale being the factor. And I hate marketing. Myself, I do not go out too much. I don't really go to social events and things like that too much. Yeah. We've always been busy. We've always been working. So I'm grateful for that.
Great. What advice would you have for young architects coming up? For guys who are graduating and...
Is to be really good. Anyone who's graduating today in today's world, it's not only restricted to architects, be really good, look inside and do what you think you're going to be the best at and what you enjoy the maximum. That's it. Pursue that. Ditch whatever you're doing right now, because today, the next world which we are going into now, it is going to be ruthless with people who are mediocre. Okay, everything which has been done mediocre will be replaced by technology. Okay, so stick to what you are, and every person's unique. You are better than me in 10 things. I'm better than you in 10 things. So we have to each kind of do what we want to do and pursue, because then we'll be good at it and then we'll survive.
So don't do 10 things at once, just focus.
Not do focus. Do things which you love. Okay, do it really well and set high standards. Do it really well and you'll survive in the world. Okay, because otherwise, if you're mediocre, it's like what's happening in IT right now. There's just back-end support, and we had this whole 10-year period where everyone wanted to be an IT guy. But these guys became IT guys because everyone wanted to be an IT guy. They didn't become IT guys because they wanted to be an IT guy. So, and then we have this thing now, there'll be tech which will come and replace the jobs.
A lot of people getting laid off.
Yeah. Unless they really wanted to do what they wanted and really pushed what they wanted, those people are not going to get fired. So that's important. That whatever you do it well. Make sure you are introspective. Don't look outside so much. The world is all outside right now. Look in. Because we don't have any time to look in anymore. Everyone's busy all the time. Everyone's on the phone. Just 5 minutes, don't do anything. Stare at the sky. Think about how you're feeling. Why you're feeling this one thing which is irritating you. What is it? Why is it irritating you? What opinion do you have about whatever is irritating you? I have those conversations. Because those are the conversations which reveal to you who you are. You're just on the phone all the time because if you have free time, you're on the phone, then you will not have that. And that becomes critical. Just get off things to entertain you.
Get off the grid for a while.
Get off the grid, man. Get off the grid, because that's, you're becoming superficial, man. So yeah, that's basically the advice. Yeah.
Awesome, Gaurav. So let's just get quickly to the quick fire round. And
Sure.
All right. So which book has inspired you the most?
Lord of the Rings. You want to know why? Or we can't do that.
Tell me,
It's because the guy thought of the world first and then wrote the book. Okay, that's the opposite of anything else. He made the whole world. This world existed in his head, and then he wrote the book. And that's the reason. That's just awesome.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Who's your favorite artist in music?
Musician?
Yeah, musician.
Okay, I'm actually listening to this band called the Album Leaf.
All right.
Okay, they're these
it's like a new band.
Post-rock band. No, they've been around for a while. It's just been one guy. And their work is... And I've heard them for a year and a half. That's how good they are. So, yeah.
And any other artists in terms of... you're into graphic design, right? So if...
artists like fine artists?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Monet. And I'm a big fan of... I am really bad with names. I follow art a lot. Okay, there's a lot of really good work going on right now. Really, really good work. And I am a big fan of I think Monet, then you have your old school, your Bosch, the dark stuff, Hieronymus Bosch. Then you have, what is his name? Van Eyck, the Dutch masters, all of that. But there's a lot of good stuff coming up right now as well. I don't remember the names.
Okay. And how do you follow these? You do go to painting shows or the exhibitions and?
See, I am not very. I've gone to a lot here in Bangalore, but I see the level very low. So I'm online, the internet's there. So I'm always checking out what's this, what's that, what's going on here, checking out reviews, checking out different works, checking out Pinterest. Then you see something nice, you go and find out who the artist is, what are the previous works, where they were born, what are the influences. I actually do all that. I'm continuously, and I have no idea what other people are seeing and other people, even in music, I have no idea what other people are listening to. I'm just on my own. Okay, in terms of I just explore, I listen to an album, I'm like, okay, I want to know more about the albums, check out the other stuff, download it, whatever,
Yeah.
And yeah.
What would you have chosen had you not taken up architecture?
I don't know, if I just say that, okay, listen, if I say studied in a different college, I don't know the person I would be. I would not be the same person today. So I'm extremely lucky. That rigor in the work. If I hadn't, rigor in work is so important. That's no one understands that it's not someone coming and teaching you. Whatever you learn by yourself. And when you learn by yourself is when you are when you learn it when you're working, and then you say, oh, how did this come? You didn't plan to go there, but it just came, and that's how learning is. Learning is exploration, right? It is not something which comes. So it's just hard work. If I hadn't worked as hard, I wouldn't be who I am today. So that's something which I'm grateful for.
All right. What's the best movie you ever watched?
Best movie I have seen. That's a tough one. I think one of the best movies I have seen. I've seen so many. Yeah, now it's like very difficult.
Alright.
I think Hao Sao Sen has made his movies. Cafe Lumiere is this movie.
Okay.
And there's a movie called Three Times. It's 3 times again, my memory. Which is about these people, this guy and a girl. They meet 3 times in their lives. And the whole movie is about those 3 brushes, and it's such a beautiful, it has this fate-esque kind of, it talks about fate, but it also talks about, it's such a beautiful movie, yeah.
Awesome.
Like, it's just existential.
You've been living in a couple of cities, right? So which city is like...
I'm
your favorite,
for comfort.
Your favorite.
I'm a Bangalore guy for comfort.
Okay.
I'm very convenient in these answers, okay? Like, you're saying we're sitting in a nice big house that would not be possible in a Bombay.
Yeah.
People, Bombay. Place, weather. Place in the sense of space. I don't mean place. Space, weather, Bangalore.
All right.
I mean, that's just like, you can just sit and like lose yourself in the city, and then you can go at whatever pace. Bombay doesn't allow you pace, but people in Bombay are just, I mean, it's just something else. Unless you stay in Bombay, you won't realize, what Bombay people are like. It is so good.
All right. And what's your favorite moment or activity like throughout the day?
A morning. I have a very strange schedule.
Okay.
I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay. Every day?
Every day.
Wow.
I'm up from 3 to 8:30 is my design time.
Okay.
Because I don't get phone calls. My employees have not come in. So I usually wind up by around 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon. And I go to sleep by around 8:30 in the night.
Oh.
So I am ready for the world. By the time it's 8, I'm ready for it. And I've had my deepest kind of thoughts by then. I've figured out whom to give what work, who I'm going to hammer, who I'm going to shout at, which clients I'm going to visit, who I'm going to call, all those things. Even if I've not delivered on a deadline, if I'm dreading a call, I have the strength to handle it and deal with it. It puts everything in context, And so for me, that period of time, that 5 hours where everyone's asleep and I'm working, and then is just amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it powers the rest of my day. Completely powers the rest of my day.
I felt like you're more of a night person where you work throughout the night.
I used to be. Being a Bombay person, I used to be a night person, but Bangalore just has beautiful mornings.
Yeah.
So I've adapted myself to Bangalore. And Bangalore, you don't want to step out in the evenings, honestly, with the traffic. So I don't mind going to sleep at 8 because I don't want to be out anywhere.
So you sit on the deck outside and
we sit on a terrace. I sit on the terrace. I sit here. I sit on a terrace. By the time the sun rises, I'm on the terrace, sketching and things like that. Otherwise, I start in the office and then go in there.
All right.
And
do you have any favorite architecture word? Like a lot of us use these terms, right? Juxtapose or...
I have this word. I don't know. I use it a lot. I seem to be using it a lot. I use the word called honest. Okay, and it is. I mean, I don't know. People can take it in their own context, but honest is mainly for me something which you are being honest with yourself. Is you can't be honest for someone else. You can only be honest to yourself. So that's something which I'm always like, if one of my employees coming to me and says that, this is the design. I said, are you being honest here? You seem to be trying to do too much, prove something to someone. Something is off here. You're not really being honest. So that's a very strange word to use because it's such a common word, but I mean it in a very different context, as far as design is concerned. So that's probably my strangest and favorite word to use, because that's only that person can understand what I'm talking about.
You've been listening to the Archgyan podcast. We're still building the community. Please share this knowledge with someone you know who could benefit. Just send them to archgyan.com, where you'll find our free newsletter, and for more podcast episodes, search for the show on any major podcasting platform. Don't forget to subscribe where you're listening right now. And if you liked it, leave a rating or review.